and get 2 for 2, and we're going to pass this to the boys in the commentary booth.
Welcome back to Alliance 115. I'm Elise Randolph, joined by Jin Tan, and we've got the 12th match of the day for you. Snuffed Out in red and Whole Control in blue. And I can say Snuffed Out have brought their flag Balgorn, a Guardian, 2 Myrmidons, 2 Ishars, 2 Vexers, a Hound, and a Hyena. But I think that flag Bal is going to be very sad. Jin, why don't you tell me what Whole Control have brought?
Whole Control have brought the perfect team to not win this match. I'm going to say not win this match, but to annihilate that Balgorn. It's 2 Vindicators, 2 Navy Brutixes, 2 Vigilants, Hyenas, and 2 Vexers. There is pretty much no way Whole Control could have brought any more DPS. They just need to heat their guns and just unload all over that Balgorn's face. It will never recover from that if they put it on properly.
Yeah, this Balgorn's gonna get it hot and nasty right in its grill. It warped in right at 0. A lot of times you see Balgorns warp in at 10, especially flag Bals, because they can reach the entire arena. Warping in at 0 is pretty dangerous in a meta where you can take a Galente rush at 0. Snuffed Out, we're like, you know what, I don't care. I'd like to see what happens here. The match is starting right now. We see some webs and scrams applied to this Balgorn, and these Vindicators are getting ECM drones on them, but they're applying at least half their damage so far. And this Balgorn is melting. Holy shit.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying desperately to kill off some of this squishy support, the Vigilance, the hull tanked Vigilance. There's only so much they can do. The Balgorn's dead to smart bomb some drones off it. It's going down so fast though. Look at that attack bar. It's so girthy.
Oh yeah, this attack bar is massive. You can see it going up and down when these guys are overheating and cycling their guns. When these teams first entered field, the attack bar wasn't nearly as high. We saw the Vindicators swap out to high damage ammo, and this Balgorn is beating structure right now. 2 Vigilants are down, however, so Whole Control are kind of going all in and losing a lot of damage, but I'm pretty sure this Balgorn's gonna die.
The Balgorn goes down! Oh my god, that's probably like 3 or 4 grand worth of Balgorn just obliterated in a moment. Oh, Snuffed Out is gonna be feeling that one.
Yeah, this Balgorn's dead. It is the flagship for Snuffed Out. They cannot field a flag Balgorn again this entire tournament. They've lost it on day 1 by warping it into 0 on 2 Vindicators. Whole Control now have a pretty hard task ahead of them. They have to get their Vindicators and, you know, catch up to these kiting drone ships. But I don't think they care right now. They just neutered the Snuff Balgorn, and that flagship cannot be fielded ever again.
That said, these Vindicators are moving very fast, and behind a shield of Vexers, Whole Control is using their Vexers so interestingly. They seem to be burning them in to try and deal tackle from Snuffed Out, so that the Vindicators can come in behind them and just ram on top of these distributed drone ships.
Yeah, absolutely, and it does look like Whole Control are losing a lot of their, tackle. They still have these 2 Hyenas which are trying to pin things down. As we can see, Snuffed Out managed to get their Guardian caught by a Vindicator, and it just melted. It melted in probably 10 shots. These Vindicators weren't screened, even though Snuff has Hyenas, and they were really hoping that Balgorn can provide all of the control. But yeah. Now Snuff, they've lost a Balgorn and a Guardian. Not sure if they can take this. Whole Control are going full on for these Vexers of Snuffed Out. Really fantastic call by these guys, and they're going to trade a Navy Brutix for it, and that's it.
Snuffed Out really needs to get a hold of these Hyenas from Whole Control. They are putting in so much work, catching things off guard, and just kind of holding them there just for long enough for the Vexers to get in. This is incredible work from Whole Control. A real masterclass on how to run this sort of whole tanked all-in setup.
At the same time, I think Snuffed Out could be doing a little bit better in terms of piloting. They're kind of all clumped together in the same area. They're about 30 kilometers away from these Vindicators, but I mean, these Vindicators from Whole Control have shown that they can get on top of you in an instant. The Whole Control Hyenas are doing great work. They're not in the action at all. They're right on the edge, skirting around, and just coming in when they need webs. As you can see, the whole control hyenas have tackled the Snuffed Out hyena, which is the only control left on the Snuffed Out field. They know if they can get this down, these Vindicators might be able to just clean up.
Yeah, I think Snuffed Out still probably has a slight edge here. Whilst their hyena is going down and their hound is pretty much the only support they have left alive, they've traded relatively well, trading a Navy Brutix, 2 Vigilance, Exa, and going good on 2 more core ships is great for Snuffed Out. If Guardian hadn't have gone down, they'd have been in great shape here, but they've still got to be very, very careful and make sure they spread out. I'd almost suggest that the Myrmidons and the Ishtars sit on top of those beacons. We know that the whole control team maybe has 1 or 2 scrams left, and if they can pull away before they get within scram range, they're going to be able to live to win for the rest of the match. It's going to take them so long to burn towards them.
These Snuffed Out Ishtar pilots are actually piloting very well now. Stockin and JA are both on opposite sides of one another, separated by about 70 kilometers. So if one of them does get caught, the other one has a pretty good chance to survive. Fortunately, the Myrmidon piloted by Senju is just sitting right on top of Stockin's Ishtar. So probably not the best spot for him to be, but maybe he wants a buddy. You know, this is a terrifying moment in his EVE career. He needs a buddy for this.
Yeah, you can see there, blood of gods burning for that Myrmidon. It looks like those Myrmidons at least have some form of links, so just one of them, you know, it looks like that Ishtar was running in to try and get links, and he might get caught along with that Myrmidon. If that happens, that's going to be a disastrous move for the Snuffed Out team, because they need to keep 2 ships alive, as well as killing off one of these Vindicators if they want to win on points, and I think that's their safest route to victory here.
Oh my god, this Myrmidon is taking chunks of armor. Snuffed Out, really good piloting right here. Managed to kill the last hyena of hull control, which probably saved them this match, to be honest. This Myrmidon was webbed by a hyena, and a Vindicator was chasing up to him. But the hyena of hull control finally died, letting this Myrmidon run free, and he died. He did die, but it happened about a minute after how it would have happened. Now these Vindicators are far across from the rest of the Snuffed Out team. They are structure tanked, so don't get too worried that they're sitting in structure, but these Vindicators need to catch at least one more ship to have a pretty good buffer going forward here.
Yeah, what Snuffed Out needs to do is they need to kill that Vindicator and then just hide on the beacons and just never get caught. Because if one more ship gets caught here, it's going to be so difficult for them to win. They'd have to run away for practically 3 minutes from these Vindicators, and one of the Vindicators just made an amazing jump there, and 20 kilometers or at least of that Ishtar of what's his face, JA, him in time to get webs on him. Oh my
god, Blood of Gods, what a play! They both just MJD'd on top of this other Ishtar by JA. JA's got to scramble to get out of here. Drones need to scramble to catch up to Mini Bren, the last Vindicator. They just had to 100 kilometers to finish him off, maybe buying enough time. I don't know, these Ishtars are a little bit faster than the Vindicators, who are surely experiencing a lot of heat damage. So here's hoping they can apply a little bit of damage.
Yeah, a critical move was they jumped ahead of where that Ishtar was going towards, so he had to stop and turn around, and you can see just how much that's hurt him. He's in half armor now, there's no reps left on the field. If that Vindicator of Minibrun can survive just long enough to put enough damage down on JA, that's going to be the match for Hull Control, I can't help but feel. All they need is one more catch, but it's not quite enough. Minibren's
finally dropped. Poor guy. Feels bad, man. But we still have Blood of Gods kind of trying to catch something here. He's doing some damage to JA, who's, taking some damage. It looks like he's getting hit with Null right here from this Vindicator, who is just trying to keep up. They're going very similar speeds right now. Blood of Gods is going slightly faster, but the Ishtar of JA does have heat left. Trying to manage it. He just got a nice Myrmidon boost from his buddy from Amantis, so maybe he'll be a little bit faster now. Yeah, you can see his speed pop up to 1500, so he got some speed links. Gonna outrun Blood of Gods, but he's still just slowly dying to these drones.
Yeah, it looks like now he's actually putting his damage on the drones, trying to kill some of them off whilst he can't put anything on this Ishtar. Oh, never mind. I completely missaw. I saw the drone effects on him.
Oh, this is going to be really poor guys in Hull Control, they did so much damage so early. It was going their way, but they just couldn't catch them fast enough. I think Hull Control is going to end up losing on this one, because even if they do kill JA, they do have to kill one more ship in order to get up on points. And with only a minute to go and only half structure HP on this Vindicator, I don't think they can do it.
Yeah, it was so well played from Hull Control. This is the best execution of that meme comp we've seen this whole tournament, and it was incredibly effective. You can see just how dangerous this thing is when it's applied properly.
Yeah, and especially when you bring a Balgorn in at 0 without banning out any Vindicators, you know, Snuffed Out were actually pretty tricky. As you can see, Hull Control did ban Balgorn and Oneros, but Snuffed Out managed to circumvent the Balgorn ban by bringing their flagship, something that they can no longer do because Hull Control just destroyed it. I wonder if it was a bit of a bait from Hull Control, hoping that Snuffed Out would bring it.
Yeah, and with that though, it looks like Hull Control have been thoroughly snuffed out, meaning that the next match we have along this bracket is Project Mayhem going against Snuffed Out, and that is going to be a battle for the ages, a theme match as it were, with two titans of LoSec really duking it out to see who truly is the most elite. And with that, speaking of elite people, let's head back to the studio.
Is a union of powerful mega corporations have brought its people both misery and triumph.
Welcome back. That is Hull Control letting me down, not winning against Snuffbox, but definitely not making it cheap for Snuffbox in that match there. That was very, very close, that match. That could have gone either way for a lot of it. Snuffbox did take the win, of course, but they did lose a flag Balgorn. They chose to bring that Balgorn to escape the Hull Control ban of Balgorn. In the end, I mean, this is the first round and you already lost your Balgorn. That's a huge blow very early in the tournament. What do you think of that reload?
I mean, losing your Balgorn in the first round is, I mean, it's pretty bad, I'm not going to lie. Because, I mean, yeah, you're in the winner's bracket, sure. They call it a Pyrrhic victory, which is, if you don't know, it's you win, but is it really worth it type of win? Would you rather have lost but kept your flagship, or win and lose your flagship? Because now, if somebody's going to ban a Balgorn, you can't bring it. So, you know, it's a bit iffy, I'm not gonna lie, but they won, so.
Yeah, in some ways it's better to at least have your flagship, even if you don't use it. I mean, you don't even have to own the ship. You could put out, for example, that your flagship is a Raven state issue. I mean, you don't have to own one. All you have to do is make people think that you do, yeah. And then they'll start to become afraid of it, and you start to get into their heads. I mean, we saw PL last year bring a state Raven issue early on in the tournament, just to prove that they had one and make teams have to think about that. Now, if you're a Snuffbox, where do you go from here? You've lost your flag battle really early. Do you kind of double up and really commit to it, or is that just going to be a big blow to the morale of your team? I mean, Brett, what do you think?
I think what has happened to them losing that battle is they've lost a lot of potential for certain comps. Like, a lot of the battle cruiser comps rely on that flag battle. So I think that's going to be not a big blow to them, because they got through the AT. The skins they've been given for winning is worth that battle anyway. So it's not as if they've lost anything. What they've lost is the potential for a lot of comps. So I think they're going to have to think long and hard about what they can and will fly.
Yeah, so let's have a look at that Balgorn kill mail that's just come up. So this, I believe, is the first flagship that has died in the tournament so far. And as you can see, it's a wreck. So the Balgorn has definitely died. Now, we're looking at the really important parts. The reason you bring your flag Balgorn, the officer webs, to get that extra range. That is the only reason that you really care so much about a Balgorn. Now, Snuffbox, very wealthy low-sec alliance, choosing here to cheap out and go for the poor man's officer webs here. I mean, Brett, what do you think there? Do you think that maybe if this had longer range webs, would it have made a difference in the end? Or
I just think there's an exponential return for a lot of these stuffs. You can pay the extra like 20, 30 billion and buy the extra webs for maybe a 2% length increase. I think it's all about what you plan to do. If you plan to just have a go, you think you're going to do well, you want to try it, I definitely think dropping to like the Missouris or some of the other fits is a good idea. But I think going for the really, really expensive stuff is only good if you plan to go top 8 or top 16. Yeah,
so that was what we just saw there, a all-in setup, no Logi, versus your kind of more traditional with your flag Balgorn there. So we do have a couple of graphs that we can throw up here. The first one is going to be the all-in performances against various different matchups to look at this no Logi style of comps. So if we can just get that graph up on the screen, and as we can see here, so all-ins, on the left, the orange is the wins, and the blue is matches played. So all in is kind of like 50-50 at the moment. It really is a coin flip, and I think that just says it all right there. All in is a coin flip. I mean, if you get a good warp in against a team that you can get in top of them, then you're going to win. But it is a really risky move. I mean, what we just saw there, do you think Hull Control maybe should have taken something a bit more traditional against that Snuffbox comp? It looked like they flew the all-in comp really well against a pretty solid team. I don't think that Hull Control should have done as well as they did, but they certainly made Snuff pay for that win.
Oh, definitely. Hull Control really made Snuff pay for it, and they, skin of their teeth almost, like losing the match against this all-in, warping all of their Vindies and Navy Britises at 0 is, it's a gamble, especially for all-in teams, but, it's a gamble that definitely, paid off to a certain extent. Killing the flag Bal, really hurting Snuffbox in their tournament now because they don't have a flagship. They can't scare people. That's what a Balgorn is really there. It's a scare tactic.
Now we do actually have the replay which showed the moment that Balgorn suffered his unfortunate poverty fit end, and if we can just throw that one up on screen imminently, then we will take a good look at it. So I'm told that the replay is having issues now, so we're not going. And now it's ready, so we are going to throw to that replay right now. So we can see here the Balgorn of Snuffed Out. That's that little red dot right in the centre. Against 2 Vindicators, 2 Navy Brutixes, 2 Vigilants, that is not where you want to be. If you are Tyler Bourbon in that Balgorn, Brett, you warp in, what do you say?
Death.
I can't say it on screen.
It is, and it's just the worst possible place to be. And we can see that Balgorn is just taking huge amounts of damage right there. I mean, he's already, we're 20 seconds into the match, and he's hitting basically almost no armor left. The Guardian there of Sharp As struggling to keep him up against all those Vindicators.
And if you watch the Guardian, I believe it's the Guardian, is bending as close as possible, which is a mistake to try and get reps on. I'm not sure what it is. I know it's a cruiser. No, the Guardian is staying away. I believe it's probably one of the Ishtars or the Vexes that's burning in, trying to keep it alive and trying to tackle some of the stuff that's killing it.
Yeah, we did actually see later on in the match that the Ishtars seemed to be jamming both the Hull Control Vindicators. So I think perhaps those jams on those Ishtars are really what actually saved it for Snuffed Out. I would go as far to say that if they didn't have those utility mids fit with those jams, those Vindicators would have shredded the rest of the Snuffed Out team and let Hull Control go for a very convincing victory. I definitely think we'll see more of Hull Control. They're going to tear up the lower brackets. That is definitely for sure. Now let's move on to the next match. So the next one we have Tournament Giants Exodus versus Tournament Relatively Unknowns We Want Your Isk. Brett, can you tell us a little bit about We Want Your Isk?
No, because they haven't been in a tournament before, and I don't think quite a lot of people know who they are, but they did buy into the tournament in the silent auction. They made a Plex bid of 8,000, and I believe they were one of the lowest Plex bids to get into the tournament.
I mean, if you're doing that, all you really need to do is win one game, and the skin values alone are going to be enough. Now, we'll talk about it a little bit after Exodus and their storied tournament history, but if I could just get predictions right now, Exodus or We Want Your Risk? Brett?
You know what? I'd love to see We Want Your Risk come out of nowhere and beat Exodus. So, living in a prayer, 1,000 to 1, I'm going to go for We Want Your Risk.
Reload?
I'm going to go for the normal say Exodus on this one, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I don't think I can justify going for the underdogs in this one, so I'm also going to go for Exodus. I'm going to toss this one to the guys in the commentary booth for this lovely match.
Ladies and gentlemen, and